Well, sunshine, what are we going to do today? Well, we got us some parts for the MS361 clones. They're Holzfforma G366s. That's our test mules, right, that we're going to run on the dyno. We're going to try all kinds of different things with. We're going to try this part versus this part versus this part, whatever. Plan on getting a lot of mileage out of them. Eventually, one of them will probably be a play saw or something. But I just want to keep going back to the same thing, and we'll have other saws in the process. Matter of fact, I just got done with a 361 for a buddy of mine. Just a quinky dink that it's the same model as my clones, but also it's not a quinky dink. That leads me to leave this to do this video. I called Ryan at Wolf Creek Saw Shop at MS361. Had a scored cylinder. No, had a scored piston. A little transfer on the cylinder, or on a little transfer on the cylinder, scored piston, things like that. So I needed a piston for it. I wanted a piston, needed a set of rings. And, excuse me, I've been saving up my pennies for a while. And I wanted a aftermarket big bore kit for the 361 clones that we're running. Plus I wanted just a standard aftermarket cylinder. And so I sent Ryan an email, said, hey, I need a Meteor piston for this saw. I need 2 carburetor kits for 361s and that style carb. Meteor piston, 2 carburetor kits, a big bore kit, and he only offered that in New West, I think. And then I said, whichever, I don't care, they're just a few dollars apart. I said, whichever one you think would show better on the dyno as out of the box cylinder. So he actually sent me back a deal, said, hey, I've got you a box of parts headed your way plus 2 carburetor kits. I thought, well, what's that mean? And lo and behold, I'm gonna cut her straight out there. He didn't charge me for them. He's evidently heard of some of the stuff we're doing here. So one of you guys, or multiple of you guys, have told him you've seen me talk about him here, and he didn't do this to make me talk about him. He done this because I had talked about him, if that makes sense. And Ryan he's going to be a help to the channel because all this stuff comes out of my pocket, right? Well, Ryan wanted to pony up a little bit. He sent me as much right here as YouTube's paid me since I've been a YouTuber. The amount of money I've got off YouTube, I don't think quite would have bought all this. It ain't because all this is expensive. It's because I ain't made no damn money. I might have made more than this, but not much. I've made $400 or $500 since the whole time I've been YouTubing. So there you go. Yeah, and we're probably only at 300 here, 3.5, something like that. Anyhow, I digress. Guys, if you order from Ryan, let him know you heard about me. You heard about him here. Not necessarily that this is how you found out, but that you heard about him. Do me that solid, would you? And if you haven't, consider doing business with him. He's small. He's a one-man business. As far as I know, you'll get personal service. I needed a cylinder. Well, he sent me gaskets because he knew I was going to need them. He'll watch out for you. I needed carburetor kits. I just told him what model it is for. He just sent them out. I didn't have to worry about searching on Amazon getting the wrong ones, right? So I'm going to digress. What we're going to do is we're going to take all these aftermarket cylinders and just visually compare them. And there's some differences, and I want to show you what they are. Some of them. And we're just going to visually look at them. Well, how else would you look at something if it wasn't visually? I don't know. Now, this one here is, and speaking of people doing this channel solids, it don't look like it's been ground on. It looks like it's been smoothed up a little. This cylinder's used. It's been run just a little bit. It looks like there's carbon in there, but it don't look like any of the ports. They might have been polished a little bit, maybe. It don't look like No, there's been no timing number changes. They might have buffed out a port or two, maybe. And I'm not even saying they might have just come looking like that. And that's a Farmertec big bore, okay? Now, Charlie sent that to me, and he didn't know too much about it, other than he'd got it from somebody else, and he'd never used it either. So he said he'd send it to me. He knew I was going to need one. Well, I got it, and she sure don't pass the drop test. She don't even hardly pass the beat it down in there test. And don't get me wrong, I could shove it down in there, but I'm trying to illustrate it won't fall, and you can tap on it and it still won't, and I don't matter which side you tap. So that thing's gonna need some work. Piston weight is, sorry, I should have been more prepared for this, had them scale out and turned on. Piston weight on this Holzfforma is 6, well, that's pretty light. I like it. Oh, there it is. I don't know if you guys can see it. I'm writing it down for me. 66.51 grams for the piston, right? Now, I'm not going to try to measure all the ports because I can't. But I can measure from the base to the I can measure from the base to the squish band, can't I? It's like drawing up a big old syringe here. 2.549. That's what we're going to call it. And I'm going to tell you, that's a little bit less than what my stock Stihl was. So actually, that looks like that would probably tighten up squish. I think stock Stihl was 2.558. So 0.01 difference, 2.554. I just got a different reading. So around there, 2.55. We'll call it 2.549, 2.5. So that's what we got on the Farmertec big bore, and we're going to put that back in there. And it didn't bother me that the piston is suspect, because I planned on doing a piston swap with a big bore anyhow. That's something way down the road. If you guys want to see what that is, you know, there's your old bait thing. You'll have to join up with me or keep searching me out every once in a while. So then we got us a Hyway. No, let's go. Seeing as how we started with big bore, let's continue with big bore. He gave us a new West cylinder, and I'll tell you what, I'm not going to try to act. I'm not an actor, but I'm telling you, when I opened this yesterday, and I lost all the footage for this, I had this recorded, so I'm re-recording it right now. I had all these numbers wrote down, and I didn't write them in my book, so I'm having to go over them again. And I'm telling you what, I'm not going to try to be some sort of actor and act all flabbergasted, because I ain't an actor. But I'm telling you, when I opened these first ones up yesterday, bear in mind, the only thing I've ever had is the cheapest stuff you can find on Amazon, or just cheap, you know. It might not be the cheapest by $3 or $4, you know. There might be something $3 or $4 cheaper, like there was a Metanlo brand, or however you say it, and an Adafall, and I like the Adafall better. It was maybe $2 or $3 cheaper or more expensive, I don't know. I'd done enough of those on 026s, I knew which one I liked the better. When I pulled one of these cylinders out, I've never had a new cylinder in my hands this nice. Yesterday it probably showed a little bit, but I'm not an actor and I ain't gonna try to recreate the oh, here's my shock face bullshit, right? It ain't the case, but I'm just telling you because I know it won't show on camera. But man, that finish in there's nice. This is the oh, yep, this one here's the new West, and they're all good. This one's probably got the best crosshatch of any of them I've seen. This is the new West. This is the big bore kit. We're comparing big bore and big bore. Now that piston fits. It fits the drop test. The other, uh-oh. You guys are gonna have to see this. What are you doing, you jerk? Get away from me. I don't even like you. I know it's raining outside. You're spoiled. Go back out with the herd. I got a herd of 100 sheep out there, give or take. And that little rat, he's a bottle baby. He's supposed to be weaned. You can see how that's going. He just gets out and comes sees me. Anyhow, we was at the drop test, right? And I like doing 2 different drop tests. I like dropping it. Oh, yep, she drops. And then I like blocking off the ports and seeing if it'll drop slow. Oh yeah, it just goes down there on the cushion air. Just about right. So, what are we doing on the weight on that piston? 66.02. That's pretty daggum light piston too. Them big bores are lighter. I don't know how they're doing it. They're lighter than them other ones. I'll spoiler you here a little bit. So the new West piston was actually 1/2 gram lighter than the Hyway. Holzfforma. Don't let me get jabbering here too much the wrong way. And 2.563. So we're gonna have a little bit bigger squish on this new West cylinder. Now I'm going to tell you, I know the transfers are going to be different. The upper transfers, the lower transfers look similar. The upper transfers, if you can see them in there, man, I hope you can. I'll wiggle them around, maybe stop them. On the new West cylinder, they're longer, but they're not as tall. And until I put it together, I won't know if the timing's low or if it just comes down below the piston. It's not doing any good. The Holzfforma and the new West transfers are way different. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I kind of don't mind grinding on transfers and stuff and getting them where I want them. Even if them's a little short or even if they're big, it ain't a deal breaker in the least a little bit. So, hands down, that new West cylinder is beating the snot. Hey, that thing dropped down in there that time. It felt snuggly getting back out. Let's see, which way does it go? Here's the intake. Yeah, I probably put it in there backwards. Here, now it don't drop. Put the intake towards the intake and it don't drop no more. Thing's out around. So, that alone, either the piston's out around or that cylinder is. I ain't got the measuring on it yet. I just got it in the mail from Charlie and ain't messed with it. So we got us a new West cylinder. He also sent me caber rings. Now, you guys have to get in the comments and let me know. I like the idea of caber rings, especially if I'm gonna put a saw together and leave it together. For testing, I'm wondering if caber rings are too good of a ring. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to have to take a saw apart. Sometimes I'll do 2 or 3 different mods to a saw on 1 tank of fuel, right? And we'll dyno test it 2 or 3 times. We'll just keep dyno testing different things. We might switch this out and switch a new cylinder out. And if I'm comparing, let's say, a Meteor piston and cylinder to what come on that factory, because I do have the very first runs off that. If I put this together and do a very first run with a caber ring, is it fair? Is that caber ring going to seal as good as these cheaper cast rings, the cheapest cast ring you can find? I think sometimes if the carburetor's dry, I think they'll break in before you ever get the saw started. Almost. So this is the Hyway cylinder, okay? And you're going to look and say, well, there's no piston in there. It came with a piston. It come with a real nice piston. And that real nice piston weighed 65.01 grams. I know that because I snatched the piston out of there, done all the work. That piston's sitting at 361 right there. I did this, quote, unboxing yesterday, and I lost all the footage, but I can tell you I know what it weighs. We actually made it down to 58.33 grams with that Hyway cylinder. Took 10% off of it, or Hyway piston. So we got the piston weight. The piston looked good, and I like that piston. But I can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. I'm not going to pull that chainsaw apart just to show it to you, because it ain't factory anymore anyway. I done took after it with the grinding wheel. 25.58 on the or 2.558. I don't know why I keep putting the decimal in the wrong spot. And those transfers are somewhere, they're pretty nice transfers, real nice cylinder. And I'm just not used to seeing coating that looks like this. I'm used to, I just pulled down an old junk cylinder, but it's already ruined. I'm used to, then I'll have a brand new junk cylinder. I'm used to the $30 cylinders. I'm not used to a $100 cylinder. But I'm telling you what, the quality is sure there. And I know you guys are going to think I'm full of crap as a Christmas goose. But I'm telling you, you can take a piston in your hand. You ever do that? And it just feels like one of them will feel cheap. There's a company that I'll use. They come in a rouge box. Rojo. That'd be a color. Rojo. They come in that color of box. And I've used them because they'll have stuff you can't get anywhere else. It's feel cheap, right? And if you get a cheap Amazon, some of their pistons feel okay, and some of them you think, man, that's a little cheap. Where you feel a steel piston, you don't even squeeze it, right? And you're like, man, that just feels harder. There ain't no way I should be able to know that. And you're thinking I'm full of crap telling you that, but I'm telling you that piston felt good. The cylinder feels good. And I can't wait to get it on saw. Something else I noticed on it, it come with a stud. It's the little things. Not that that's a big thing, but the ones I get off Cheap Charlie Internet, they ain't coming with no stud. You got to double nut that and try to get that backed off her. So it's the little things. And that's like I say, that's a Hyway. Now listen here, I thought I was gonna, because when I first opened this box, I saw it said OF, like OnlyFans, and I thought this is porn, this is chainsaw porn, but I thought I was gonna have to mosaic it out. Come with an Oregon spark plug and a decomp plug, and it come with a little piston, and it's a nice piston. And almost forgot about that, but I'm gonna tell you. Let me see if I can, I almost hate to dig out one. How about you just take my word for it? Because I could be full of crap regardless. How about you just do me a solid and take my word for it? You put pin to pin together on this Meteor piston versus this Stihl piston. And the Hyway piston was right in there too. This one here is about 4 thousandths taller. You got about 4 thousandths more here. So if you're, but you've got a little bit more. It makes up for it in that you're a little. No, I ain't even measured a Meteor. Have a, but this piston sets about from pin height to top of the crown on this one is about 4 thousandths higher. So, you know, if you're just trying to tighten up, squish a little bit, just ordering a Meteor piston might be your way, right? If you can take off 4 thousandths and not even have to do nothing, not even need to own a lathe and nothing, just put a Meteor piston in it and gain 4 thousandths because it's a nice quality piston. There's no doubt about that. And the Meteor come with the Stihl base gasket and, the Stihl muffler gasket and the Stihl, or the base gasket, plus it's got the OEM style circlips that I like. They don't have the tab on them that causes extra inertia. How deep are we here? 2.568 on that first go. Let me try her again. I don't always trust myself too good. 2.550, and I ain't sure if I done that one right either. Damn it. Dang it. That's 3 different ones in a row. I'm fighting. 2.554. I'm satisfied with that one. Let me see if I can duplicate it. .807. What I do? Oh, there I was on this side. 2.554. All right. Golly, I'm fighting her today. He got 2.554 on the Meteor. So actually the Meteor, just by measuring wise, because remember the Hyway, that's Holzfforma, that's Hyway, and it was a smaller, yeah, the Meteor might tighten up your squish, a Meteor piston and cylinder, because I remember what my steel cylinder was too. It was 2.558. So that's 4 thousandths there and 4 thousandths here. A Meteor piston and cylinder would tighten you up by 8 thousandths on this particular one. Is that true across the board? I don't know. This is the first one I've ever had in my grubby little cabbage collectors. But the piston's heavy. Heavy as a dead priest with rocks in these pockets. I'm telling you, heavy. Which, okay, I got a grinder. But I'm telling you, that piston's heavy. That's 73.44 grams. And I'm reluctant, like I say, and we got some nice parts here. I'm reluctant to ever say anything bad that Ryan gave me this stuff. I mean, you know, how can he give me something and then I'll sit there and say bad something like, man, that piston's heavy. It's 8 grams heavier, 8.5 grams heavier. That's no good. You guys have heard me talk about inertia. Well, Ryan didn't ask me to lie. He'd know better. And yeah, I am thankful he gave it to me. Am I going to steer you guys down the wrong path just because he gave it to me? Ha! Ain't a snowball's chance in hell of that. I'll tell you that right now. It is what it is. And I'm not dissatisfied with that piston. It's thick. I can see where it's thick. If I grind it down to where the Hyway was, it'd be as light as the Hyway. As plug and play, you may want to grind on it. Sent me a couple sets of seals and gaskets, so that's pretty cool. And I've already used one of them. It's kind of funny, he sent me, I don't know, he predicted I was going to need it, and I did. I'm going to throw that old gasket in there because it's okay. I'm going to throw that steel piston in there too because it's no good, but it's okay. Anyhow, he sent me a set of caber rings, one for the big bore, which is a 49 millimeter, and one for their standard bore. And I put the cabers in this saw, and he sent me some stickers, and he sent me, you know, carburetor kits. And I always like how he packages carburetor kits. He does them so they don't wind up through the mailman kicking them down the street and getting in a dog fight and using them for a coaster at the bar and his 3 martini lunch. And no, I'm not picking on the postman. I'm just being silly. Just let me alone. But you bend up a gasket or a diaphragm, the carb kit's just kind of, that's kicking the teeth, ain't it? So that's where we're at. But no, Ryan's, we got Ryan's parts in here. We got a set of caber rings in here. We got a Hyway piston in here because it was a little shorter, and I actually had to take the base down on this. And I really didn't port this saw. The owner didn't want it ported, wanted it fixed. He doesn't mind that it's running better, and I've ported some saws for him. Maybe that's why he didn't want it ported. I've ported some saws for him. No, he just didn't care to have it. He wasn't concerned about it. It wasn't running right. Had an air leak at the base, so I actually had to cut the base to get rid of my air leak. And it's got a Hyway piston, caber rings, saw, old carb kit in it. Still missing that annular buffer that goes right here, and I got that on order. And if any of you guys have a preferred 361 just quick and dirty muffler mod, let me know. I cut this one all the way apart, and this one of them I had. I ruined it. It was rusty. But anyhow, I took one of mine off a Ruth over there, cut it apart, took the baffle out, embiggened the hole a little. Yes, that's a real word, embiggened. That's part way between made it bigger and enlarged. We embiggened the holes a little, and I think she's gonna run. Well, guys, I hate unboxing videos. I don't watch them, I'll be honest with you. I don't watch other people's. If you watched mine, I appreciate it. And I tried to make it more than an unboxing video. And if you take anything away from it, it would be, don't worry about giving me a like or a thumbs up or a comment or nothing, but consider, Ryan done me a good solid. I'm trying to do him a good solid. Give him some consideration. And if you are to order from him, let him know that you see me talking about him. Maybe it didn't influence you a thing. Or if you hate my guts, so therefore you ain't gonna see him and ain't gonna order from him, call him up and tell him why you ain't ever gonna order. Cause that daggum hate chaff said something nice about you and I hate his guts, so therefore I hate your guts too. Whatever you need to do. Guys, appreciate her.